The latest film from director Tim Burton stars Eva Green as Miss Peregrine, the headmistress of a secret school for children with magical powers. It's about a teenager named Jack who struggles to fit in with society but discovers a magical realm where he finds friendship and purpose. In other words, it's a Tim Burton movie, thematically at least. That premise of outsiders finding their way is basically the foundation of all young adult literature, which is the genre of book this movie is based on, so the material is a natural fit for the director. But visually speaking, this is probably the least Tim Burton-y movie Tim Burton has ever made. There's no wild Dr. Seuss-like architecture or hundreds of elaborate costumes here. His films are usually surreal, and this one feels far more realistic. The movie has got a few Burton-esque visual flourishes, particularly with a character named Enoch and the depiction of the villain of the film, but otherwise it's a more restrained approach to the material than you usually get from him. From a technical standpoint, the only thing that irritated me was the noticeable blue color grading. I think they may have been going for a kind of Wizard of Oz style where the regular world is mundane and the fantasy world is vibrant, but it's very distracting that whenever a scene is set in modern day Wales, you may as well be pressing your eyeballs into a vat of blueberries. Now, looking at the concept of the film, it's very easy to shout out that it's a copy of X-Men or Harry Potter, and while it does have the DNA of those two franchises in it, I mean, the screenwriter even penned 2 recent X-Men movies, I do think that there is enough here to distinguish it from those stories. It's like comparing a university campus to a one-room school in the country. The dynamic here is more intimate, with a single teacher and a handful of students of varying ages. Plus, if you're going to accuse the film of plagiarism, then it should be a class action lawsuit, because it takes cues from just about every children's fantasy book ever written. The children don't age, just like in Neverland. The fantasy realm is an escape from World War II, just like in Narnia. And Eva Green's character feels like a cross between Mary Poppins and Willy Wonka. And by the way, she is absolutely captivating in this movie. The biggest problem with the film, actually, is that she's not in it more. Despite having her name in the title and being the focus of all of the marketing, she's only in it for about 1/3 of the runtime. And because of how little she's in the movie, most of her dialogue is unfortunately mired down by the loads and loads and loads of exposition she needs to deliver. Which is pretty annoying considering characters constantly shout, "Don't ask questions," at the protagonist, but their reasons for doing so are later revealed to be pretty contrived, because the real reason they don't want to answer all of the questions at once is because the screenwriter doesn't want to answer all of the questions at once. The film has a very conventional 3-act structure, but I think the problem is that it spends way too much time leading up to Jack's discovery of the school, that by the time he gets there really isn't a lot of time to get to know these characters. With 2 exceptions by my count, the student characters don't have any real depth or story to them. They're the equivalent of fancy wallpaper. They're decorative, not engaging. I think the movie really prioritized establishing its creative world that it starts to forget the emotional heart of the film, which is Jack's relationship with his grandfather. The plot becomes a secondary concern, something tacked on so that there can be action scenes at the end of the movie. Which brings us to Samuel L. Jackson and, well, it's nice to see that he's having fun. He just goes for broke in this movie in the most ridiculously cornball way possible. There's a lot of roll your eyes moments with him here, but he's also just a constant source of entertainment. His problem, and the problem with the rest of his entourage of Slender Man-like monsters, is that they're not really all that threatening. They're shown to be easily outwitted and defeated repeatedly in the movie, so apart from one absurd action sequence featuring reanimated skeletons, the ending doesn't have the kind of stakes, tension, or fun that it needs. In the end, the film's imaginative world and fun cast can't really save it from a generic plot and underdeveloped characters. I think that the film will probably be more satisfying to fans of the book, so if you have read the book, I'll be especially interested in your take on the film, but I expect that for everyone else, the reaction will be that it's just okay. And that's why I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe if you found this review useful, and I'll see you next week.